Transparency breeds trust. That's the theme. Today, the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets held a hearing regarding the JFK files. Oscar winner Oliver Stone made the film JFK, as we all remember. He has long questioned the government's finding that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman. Stone was called before Congress to testify because of his film JFK, but also his more recent one, 2021, the documentary JFK Revisited. That's the one to see. Here's a little bit of what he had for Congress.
I asked the committee to reopen what the Warren Commission failed miserably to complete. I ask you in good faith, outside all political considerations, to reinvestigate the assassination of this President Kennedy from the scene of the crime to the courtroom. Let us forgive, but not forget.
I wanted to talk to Oliver, and I wanted to talk to Jim DiEugenio, his production partner, but also a guy who's been studying this and has written 4 books of his own about the assassination, about why this matters and what still needs to happen. Here's what they said. Oliver, Jim, thank you for taking this opportunity. So, Oliver, let's start with what happened today. And what do you think the significance of the hearing was and where we are in terms of the transparency we should get on the issue of what happened to JFK?
Well, we're working on it. I was here in 1992 in one of these hearing rooms going over this material and trying to explain the film. And I'm back 30 years later. Or 29 years, whatever it is. And, you know, the point is you got to sometimes stick to something. You got to build up the case. It's a cold case with a lot of clues. We don't have what they call a smoking gun that is going to make everybody sensationally happy. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in real life for the most part. You need to work at this thing, and that's what we were prepared to do. We came back to do it again, and there's now new information as a result of my film in '91, JFK, which was passed the JFK Records Act, which created the Assassination Records Review Board that existed with limited funds for a few years until 1998. They put out quite a study of what they learned. They couldn't reach a conclusion that was definite and striking, but there was a lot of clues that nobody ever heard about. That's why we did a documentary, Jim and I, in 2019, or 2021, I'm sorry, 2021, called JFK Revisited. Mm-hmm. But that is a documentary. And that,
right. And Oliver,
in addition to that, we're here today.
Well, we'll get to today, but just to go to how we got to today, you were speaking to me before with Jim about how information that had come out and helped motivate the documentary you two did together was not well reported on in the American media. And how does that inform what we need to know?
Jesus Christ, I can go on, Jim could go on for an hour. First of all, the autopsy. We presented a bookload of information showing that this case was not, that original autopsy at Bethesda, coming off, it should have been done at Parkland, but it was done at Bethesda by 3 amateurs. And essentially, it's been questioned to death. There shows, you know, the major stuff is that there's 42 witnesses that have pointed to the back of Kennedy's skull, the right side of his skull, that was blown out, gaping big hole. Brains had gone, most of the brains had oozed out, but that hole was covered up in the Warren Commission. It's a horrible, horrible.
It was also covered up in the House Select Committee report several years later. But with the declassified files by the review board, we now saw that there was matching testimony between Parkland and Bethesda about this blown out evasive hole in the right rear of Kennedy's skull, which strongly suggests a shot from the front.
So, Jim, why do you think they covered it up?
On the autopsy.
Why do you think they covered it up, Jim? Well, and what do you believe they still have that should be released?
I believe that this was concealed because they did not want to show the evidence that Oswald could not have produced a shot like that, all right, that it had to have come from the front, most likely the grassy knoll, all right? Now, as far as what else is still in there, I believe that every single document on Oswald in Mexico City should be ultimately declassified, because I think that is a very, very important episode in this case. The question is, was Oswald in Mexico City, or was there an imposter? There's evidence on both sides, but I believe that's one of the things that they should concentrate on. I also believe that every last document about Oswald in New Orleans in the summer of 1963, I think that should be declassified. I also believe that this committee by Congresswoman Anna Luna should call in the people who are still around from the Warren Commission and the House Select Committee and the Review Board. And they should go ahead and do what they did with us today. Why were you frustrated? Why couldn't you complete the mission? Okay, those kind of questions I think are very, very important and relevant to today's state of the case.
So Oliver, people have a question about why stuff hasn't come out. And look, this is the problem with the relationship of trust and transparency, right? When you don't release things, you wind up feeding a lot of ideas about why there's a lack of transparency. What is your best sense, Oliver, about why this stuff has been kept quiet, why Trump couldn't release all of it the first time, why it still hasn't been released?
Well, I think originally Jim is right. There was a tremendous effort to prove that Oswald was a lone shooter. We have other evidence that came out that he wasn't even on the 6th floor. 3 women. This was found out by at the time of the review board, and especially by one researcher, Ernst, that there were 3 women on the 4th floor that saw the assassination. 2 of them ran down to the assassination right away. You give us the details. The supervisor of the older woman, Dorothy Garner, who's still alive and still can be interviewed, saw them go down the stairs within 40 seconds. And here she is. Oswald is on the 6th floor. How the hell does he get ahead of everybody and run down, stash the rifle, run down the stairs, do everything and appear in the second room, in the 2nd floor lunchroom in less than a minute and a half or something like that?
Good question. And Oliver Stone and Jim DiEugenio, appreciate them asking it, and this is why you need more transparency. And if not, that's how you get the conspiracy theories, because they operate off a vacuum of information, not by having full information. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.